Good evening. The drama continues from the folks at the defunct Greater Church of Lucifer. They are nothing but a lame Facebook page anymore. But I still get messages from all of you out there who are about as much in love with the Greater Church of Lucifer as Lucifer and I are. First of all, before I continue, before I start to read this long, rambling comment by Michael W. Ford about Jacob Noe out of the blue, why he still feels like he needs to say things about Jacob Noe, I have no idea, but he has made another long, rambling comment about Jacob Noe. The importance of this video right here, folks, so if you get so tired of what I'm about to read that you just can't make it through the rest of the video, hey, I understand. So I just want to make sure that you understand that I want to make it clear. We, Lucy and I, are distinguishing ourselves from groups like the Greater Church of Lucifer. So you know, of course, they call themselves Luciferians. Now, we call ourselves Gnostic Luciferians. They call themselves left-hand pathers, and we are now calling ourselves right-hand pathers, because the truth is we are not concerned with all these sort of, for the lack of a better word, satanic type fleshly desire type things. We are a spiritual group. We're not interested in this intellectual, pseudo atheistic type of group like the GCOL. Just so we can distinguish ourselves as Luciferians, we will be calling ourselves right-hand path Luciferians, so you know. And that's really the most important thing about this video. Now, there is someone who I speak to on a regular basis on Facebook. This is not from her. This is from someone else. However, there is someone who is really chomping at the bit to really expose this person, Jacob Noe, as though he's not already being exposed. Trust me. The stories that she has told me about this guy, he's not a good guy. He never was a good guy. He never probably will be a good guy. I mean, the fat tub of, you know what? I mean, he's 500 pounds. The man is disgusting to begin with. But anyway, before I start rambling on like Michael Ford, let's get to this long description that Michael W. Ford has written about Jacob McKelvey. Now I'm going to read this comment that I got. Michael, thank you for your comment. And please, those of you out there who are still paying attention to what's going on in the GCOL, because I'm not, please let me know, and I will broadcast it so that people know. Michael Ford's lame-ass excuse, okay, for making Jacob Noe this quote-unquote archon of the Greater Church of Lucifer. All right, I got this 3 hours ago. Latest statement for the GCOL on Jacob McKelvey. Michael W. Ford, August 28th at 10:21 p.m. So this would have been on their Facebook page. There has been a lot of questions regarding my involvement with Jacob Noe, a.k.a. Jacob McKelvey, as he continues to try to undermine work that has been around since he was a country DJ and a Mormon. At this time, I would like to make public statement, even though I dislike even writing the name of this parasite. You were friends with him, Michael. 2 years ago, he approached me about getting involved in a group he had been trying to start based on the work of myself and Jeremy Crow. I was very hesitant about going into this with someone I knew little about, but I felt there was a need for a platform within Luciferianism and had always wanted to do something like this, but had little time to do so. Although I won't get into most of the details about the issues that we had with him from the beginning, I am going to outline a few reasons why I have nothing, all capitals, more to do with this quote unquote man. I don't know what that means. And warn anyone who decides to involve themselves with his endeavors. Number one, he had never really read my books or any other books on Luciferianism except for the basic short book, The Kabbalah. Even after I had discussed and explained over and over again the importance of knowing and understanding what you trying to be a quote leader in as of the time of his leaving. Michael W. Ford writes books, folks, okay? I can barely get through his sentences because your syntax is completely off, Michael W. Ford. Let me start at the beginning of this quote-unquote sentence. Even after I had discussed and explained over and over again the importance of knowing and understanding what you are, quote, trying to be a, quote, leader in, as of the time of his leaving, he had still not read, practiced, or done any studies except for the random wiki page. 2. This man who speaks of, quote, egos, as if they are a bad thing, as if he had none. Anyone who met him shares that laugh with me. Egos are a bad thing. My first experience of the original, quote, ceremony of self-illumination at the July 4th meeting in 2015, I was asked to attend. He had his, quote, wife robe him. Yes, she did. And then he had a potential member, quote, this is all caps, kneel before him, unquote, and pledge his allegiance to the group. I actually left in the middle of it, as it pissed me off so badly I could not be respectful in his domain any longer. At this time, I was going to leave the organization, but he called me and asked me why I left, and I was angry. I told him I was personally offended that he would ask another to bow before him, and as Luciferians, under no, capital N-O, circumstances, do that. Caps, all caps. Any of you who know me personally can attest to my dislike of flamboyant, egocentric performance. Sorry. He actually, quote, cried, all caps again. It looks like he's performing right here where he's writing this, all caps. Yes, there were witnesses on the speakerphone, so Jacob began to cry. To which he told me he was sorry. He was just learning, and if I stayed, he would have me rewrite the ceremony so it would be, quote, Luciferian in nature, etc. Now, folks, let me just take a second away from this and ask you this. Does this sound like a left-hand pather who would listen to somebody crying on the phone and then still want to continue to work with this guy? It's pretty sad, folks. It's pretty sad what a bunch of wimpy little girly men who are supposed to be in control of the greater Church of Lucifer. Number 3. During the opening of our first building, he asked us if we should reach out to the media and announce our presence. Yes, you should. We voted no, and as we had safety concerns for those attending and did not want to make this a publicity stunt. This sounds like bullshit. He then asked again, stating that Jeremy Crow had an interview in Toronto and they would find out anyway, and it would be good publicity. Again, we voted no, capital N, capital O. Within 2 days of this conversation, someone contacted the news about us. Our sign was not yet even up. And the news started interview requests. We were suspicious about the timing, but felt that the interviews had to be done to state our side rather than our own one-sided approach. The very first interview request was from a Houston Chronicle, and after the interview, Jacob asked them if it would be in the Sunday paper. The reporter replied, quote, he did not know. And Jacob responded, quote, this is a pretty big news and people will want to hear about it. The reporter said in a sarcastic manner, quote, they would probably have news like terrorism and other things to report for Sunday, unquote. He gave the reporter a book, and without the reporter asking, he suggested that we, quote, we sign for him, unquote. As the reporter was leaving, we asked how the reporter knew about us. He responded that the anonymous concerned male citizen called to make the public aware of us. I later questioned Jacob because I suspected it was him. He chuckled and said, I don't know nothing about that, Bubba. To which he said, quote, I'm media marketing genius, Bubba, unquote. Hope and I wanted to leave at this moment. So why didn't you? But we were in the middle of a full throttle opening of the GCOL and could not just stop then. Now, give me a minute. I'm going to ask Lucy a question. She's sitting right here now. Lucy, you've read Michael W. Ford's books, correct?
Yes.
And is he, a good writer? Because I'm reading right now something that he wrote at length on his Facebook page here, and it's not exactly, well, let me put it this way. If I would to turn something like this into college, I don't think I would receive an A for, grammar and whatnot. You've read his books, full of misspellings, full of, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Number 4. It's almost over, folks. This torture is almost over. Number 4. There were many other things leading up to this, but they very last thing was the refusal of him to allow us to see and review the financial records, even though he wanted Hope Marie to be responsible for filing our sales with the state. Now let me get this straight. Okay, Michael Ford, I hope you're listening to this, or somebody who's, up your ass is listening to it. You are responsible for this. By the way, you still owe me 50 fucking bucks. I never got my card from the GCOL. I never got squat from you folks. You know what? I could sue you personally for this. And the fact that you are not taking Jacob to court kind of undermines everything you're writing here. And if you don't take Jacob to court, those of you out there, the Greater Church of Lucifer, who have sent money to them and not receive the product that you're getting, let me tell you something. They have stolen from you, folks. Okay, that is a crime. Michael, you are going to be held responsible for this unless you take Jacob to court. I can't believe I have to explain that to grown adults. Anyway, Jeremy Crow asked him again, and in the same evening he resigned and signed everything over to us with a comment to fulfill all outstanding membership orders. We finally got him to turn over most, all caps, of the records and found, quote, all caps, significant amounts of monies misappropriated for things such as his wedding, honeymoon, guitars, studio time, restaurants, etc. Okay, Michael, he didn't take that money from you. He took that from the members of the GCOL. So do you hear, former members of the GCOL? We got to get a class action suit started against all of you so-called archons of the Greater Church of Lucifer. All of you. You're all on the hook. Do you not understand this? Do you not have a lawyer to talk to? Because if you don't, you need to get one. He left us with virtually no money in the bank for thousands of dollars in orders not completed or fulfilled. He later made an agreement with us and paid back monies to you from January to March of 2016 only. 2015 has never been paid back. He still never completed the orders and complains that he had chargebacks for them. Number 5. Since the time of my leaving, he has bad-mouthed myself and others with the GCOL as well as the organization itself. He has even gone so far as to try to steal my copywritten artwork to sell on T-shirts. I was able to contact Etsy and have it removed. You can have him arrested! The reason I am writing this is because there were lots of questions regarding my involvement and my choice to get involved with this person. But I wonder why. And as a warning to those who may want to get involved with any of his other endeavors, my experience with this man is that he is a manipulator who constantly plays the victim. He is untrustworthy. He is not a true Luciferian in any sense of the word, neither are you, Michael. One of the reasons I think this is not because of the reasons above, but also because when he resigned, he asked me to meet with me by myself, at which time he told me the only reason that he started the GCOL was to make money, and he was living on a friend's couch at the time. He also stated he was still registered Mormon, and that he started and that at the time of the formation of the GCOL. After doing a little further research, I found a funding site that he created before the GCOL called the Greater Church of Satan, to which he was trying to raise money for. Folks, I already exposed this months ago, okay? So if Michael Ford, and I know you've been watching our videos, I know you've been watching him because you responded to one of them by explaining supposedly what an archon was. So I know you've been watching him. You're aware of our videos. I have discussed this in one of the very first videos I did after Jacob screwed me and Lucy. That I discussed that he has this, or had this, quote, Greater Church of Satan. So you're going to tell me, now, what kind of leader is this man, Michael Ford, that he wasn't aware? He's either lying now here, or he wasn't aware of this site that took me all of 5 minutes to find myself. All I have is Google over here. Same thing you have. I imagine you've got a lot better stuff to work with over there. Nice big computer. Any of you fools that are still part of the Greater Church of Lucifer, and you think that you're going to get your money and you're going to get some prestige or learn anything from this group of people, you deserve it. You deserve it because you're fools. As a Luciferian, I am always trying to find insight from my experiences, and what I have learned from this and take from this is that you should always trust your instincts, and if a person does not seem quite right, quote, right, and the, quote, creep alarm, unquote, goes off, cut your ties immediately and don't look back. I hope that my insight will help others who have experienced or who may be experiencing a parasitical plague like this individual. Bon Nam A Aram. Michael W. Ford. Well, these people, all of them, they all prey on weak-minded fools. And Lucy and I thought, that we could use them as a springboard to start what we now call the House of Hillel. The House of Hillel, a right-hand Luciferian path. And unlike Michael W. Ford, I have actually performed spells that have actually worked. The biggest question you should ask yourself with these multiple of crappy books that he writes and he self-publishes, full of all kinds of grammatical errors, just like this long, drawn-out thing I just read to you from Facebook was, the question you should ask yourself, is he giving you any kind of insight into magic? Is he giving you magical spells that work? Or is he just droning on for, 100 pages where half of it is his crappy artwork? Folks, if you want to follow somebody like that, go for it. I know, as I always do with these videos, I'm going to get a few of you trolls from the Greater Church of Lucifer. You're losers! So go ahead and write whatever you want to. Just, folks, please, use your common sense when it comes to these people. Use your common sense. Because, obviously, these people aren't professionals. They're not real, quote, magicians. They're not the people who are carrying on the legacy of people like Crowley or LaVey. They're losers. And they're incompetent. And if I cry on the phone, they're going to let me be an archon. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Well, this was a long one. This is Shindo. You all have a good evening.
By the fires of hell a-glowing, is the grisly reaper mowing?